So before we get to this,
So basically, the conclusion is that BYD has been selling cars at a loss. The company has been losing so much money that it will bust like Evergrande. So today I want to walk you through it, and you will see exactly how BYD has been cooking its books by faking profitability and covering up a massive liquidity crisis.
oh, that sounds juicy. So before we get to that, a great in-depth analysis from Lei. Here's some recent news, allegedly, about BYD in China.
BYD has slowed its production and expansion plans in recent months. That's according to two sources close to the matter. They said the Chinese electric vehicle giant reduced shifts at some factories in its home market and delayed plans to add new production lines. The decisions might be a sign BYD's strong sales growth over the past couple of years could slow. It also faces rising inventory even after offering deep price cuts in China's highly competitive auto market.
And by the way, deep price cuts is a massive understatement. I covered these at the time, big head scratcher, and a massive warning sign. Some of the vehicles discounted by up to around 35%. And these are vehicles that aren't selling for 40, 50,000 US dollars a pop in China. No, some of these vehicles with multi-deca percentage discounts, 10, 20, 30 plus percent. Prior to the discount started at around 10,000 US dollars converted from Chinese yuan. Think about this for a moment. Having a hard time moving vehicles that have decent range, decent electric vehicles for the equivalent of about 10,000 US bucks, and you need to discount by that much? Red fucking alert. Now let me be clear, I'm no BYD hater, but I am willing to call a spade a spade. BYD in big fucking trouble, and this ain't news. If you're a regular viewer, you'll have heard me say, over the last half decade or more, BYD has an enormous amount of complexity in their electric vehicle business. And in fact, because BYD doesn't separately report financials for their pure electric vehicle business versus their battery cell supply business, blah, 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 I can't know for sure. But I'm not completely brain dead, and my very strong suspicion is that BYD does not make money selling electric vehicles today, and in fact are subsidizing their loss-making electric vehicle business with profits from their very juicy battery cell supply business. I've also pointed out many times, because it really matters, that in China, the best-selling vehicle is not produced by a Chinese company, but it is electric. It's produced by Tesla. It's called the Model Y. Not only is the Model Y the best-selling vehicle in China, but it is somehow managing to do that at a price 2 to 3 times higher than a customer in China can purchase a pretty decent BYD electric vehicle. I'll say that again. For 2 to 3 times the price, Tesla's Model Y is crushing the local, much more affordable Chinese electric vehicle competition. That's awkward and embarrassing. Oh, by the way, Tesla's actually making money selling those electric vehicles in China. BYD has an enormous amount of complexity. To do comparable numbers of electric vehicles, they have many more models on the market instead of one category killer per category. So even before the allegations of, quote, cooking the books, which we will get to, BYD not in a great position. They're being embarrassed in their home country by Tesla with a vehicle 2 to 3 times the price of their average selling price being outsold, and Tesla's actually making money doing it. They have an enormous and unnecessary amount of complexity in their vehicle business. Oh, and by the way, sometimes you'll hear people say BYD sold 4 million vehicles last year. Give or take, roughly half of the vehicles BYD is selling today are internal combustion engine vehicles. Wait, hang on, fact check. But I thought that they stopped making ICE vehicles a few years ago. No, they tricked you, motherfucker. They still make ICE vehicles, but they stick a tiny little vibrator-sized battery in them. And now those vehicles identify as electrified trans EVs, also known as hybrids, which are a complete internal combustion engine vehicle with a tiny little battery. Bro, don't you be calling yourself electric or electrified or new energy vehicle. We know what you got under the hood, bruh. That's an internal combustion engine. Doesn't matter what you call yourself or identify as. Not an EV. So that portion of BYD's business is going the way of the dinosaur. So let's go over some of the recent massive warning signs. Huge discounts on already extremely affordable vehicles. And I'm talking 10,000 US dollars or less in some cases. With 10, 20, 30+% discounts. Crazy. Half the vehicles they're selling, give or take, today are going to disappear tomorrow. No one's going to be buying trans EVs in the future. To the best of my ability, it appears pretty clear to me that BYD is making $0 selling electric vehicles, period. Thank fuck their cell supply business, their battery cell supply business is carrying their EV business. They have far too much complexity, far too many vehicles and options. They don't benefit from the kind of economies of scale Tesla does with one category killer per category. They also, by the way, didn't just begin operating their first Robotaxis in Austin, Texas, or have the first vehicle deliver itself to a customer from factory to customer doorstep. Tesla did though. And this is before the subject of today's video, the reporting from Lei here. I've been paying attention to this for some time, but I'm getting a lot of requests lately. Bro, please, can you cover this? So today's the day. Now, obviously, I highly encourage you guys to watch the live streams that Leigh's done. She's covered BYD a number of times now. But I just wanted to share some of her reporting. Because keep in mind, and let me be extremely clear, I've said in the past, the future of the electric vehicle business globally is number 1, Tesla. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 Chinese EV manufacturers. And the most likely candidate for number 2 is BYD, whose business relative to Tesla really does look like a number 2. See what I did there? And that's before this. Let's just listen. You guys can make up your own mind on approximately how fucked BYD is. And of course, there's a link in the description to watch this full video from Leigh.
So if you review BYD's financial report, the company looks very profitable. In fact, its net profit in 2024 jumped 32.9% from a year ago, reaching 41.6 billion yuan. Yes, you heard that right. BYD's net profit grew 33% year over year in 2024. I did some calculation. Here we go. Let me just show you the numbers. As you can see, total revenue for 2024, this is all based on 2024. 2024, its reported revenue is 777 billion yuan. And its profit margin was 5.4%. And the Chinese analyst pointed out that for Chinese industrial manufacturing companies, he said that a 5.4% profit margin is very high. And the industry average is only 2%. Yeah, this is for large-scale industrial manufacturing companies in China. 5.4% net profit margin is high. On average, they have 2%. So on paper, BYD looks like it's far ahead of the pack and it's profitable. But here's the catch. BYD is notorious when it comes to paying its suppliers. I talked about that in my June 10th program.
Can confirm, highly recommend watching that as well. Your jaw will be on the floor. So before we get to that, I just wanted to share something. First and foremost, this is a shot of the 2024 full year BYD financial results. And let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 different vehicles featured to discuss their automotive business. That is a hell of a lot of complexity. Half of these, by the way, on average, going the way of the dinosaur. But wait, there's more. When we talk about the different revenue categories, the example about the supposed profitability, we heard earlier, BYD, a little over 5% net margins and net profit. That's on their entire business, not just their automotive business. But wait, there's more. The two separate categories we see here reported in BYD's results are mobile handset components, assembly service, and other products, roughly 20% of revenues. But here's the thing that I've been raising for quite some time now. The other category that BYD reports is called automobiles and related products and other products, which is interesting in and of itself. There's two separate categories, each which include other products. Great place to hide something that's making money and carrying the other products or vice versa. But see, here's the thing. To the best of my understanding, this is where BYD reports not only revenues and profits and costs related to selling vehicles to customers, but also their very juicy battery cell supply business. Now, if I were, for example, losing crazy amounts of money selling vehicles to consumers, trying to compete on cost with Tesla and inevitably heading bankrupt, but I wanted to hide that fact from investors, and I separately also had a very profitable battery cell supply business, what I would do if I was trying to hide the truth would be to lump these together and call the category automobiles and related products, e.g. vehicles that require batteries are automobiles, and a related product to a vehicle that requires batteries would be the batteries that we make and sell to other companies and other products. That's where I would hide this information. So just to be really clear, based on my understanding and latest reporting here, what she's referring to is the entire category being reported as automobiles and related products and other products, which to me presumably includes their battery cell supply business and probably some other stuff too. And if I'm right in this speculation, that would mean any of the numbers we see relating to BYD's automotive business are actually being essentially inflated by their highly profitable, speculation alert, battery cell supply business. If that were removed, the picture would look even worse. So let's zip through these numbers. Again, if you guys want to watch the full thing in detail, check out the source link in description. You can also pause the video to take this in. But in brief, it appears that each BYD vehicle is being sold for an average purchase price to the consumer of 124,900 yuan, which is roughly 17,400 US dollars. I wasn't joking when I talked about Tesla selling vehicles at 2 to 3 times the price of a typical BYD and still kicking their fucking ass in China with the Model Y. Impressive feat. So now some of Leigh's estimates include the production cost per vehicle of 97,000 yuan. But wait, there's more. Also an estimated 8,400 yuan in taxes per vehicle, leaving BYD with a whopping before overhead profit per vehicle of 19,500 yuan, which is about 2,700 US dollars. We ain't done yet. Some brief financial comparisons between a couple of Chinese EV manufacturers, Great Wall Motors, NIO, and a comparison with Tesla. The short story here, as you can see on screen, you want to pause and soak it all up, feel free. Great Wall Motors and NIO have roughly the same dollar amount of assets as liabilities. Tesla, approximately double the assets as its liabilities. A much stronger financial situation. And now, please let this one sink in. Lei's estimated average hidden cost per BYD vehicle sold is 20,000 yuan, which if you'll recall, their estimated profit before overhead was 19,500 yuan, seeming to suggest that they're not making any money selling electric vehicles on average, which imagine my fucking shock. I've been saying this for some time. And remember, these numbers are based on their 2024 financial results. This was prior to the massive discounts a month or two ago, where they were discounting vehicles already around 10,000 US dollars by 10-20+%. Just saying, here's a more detailed breakdown. Revenue per vehicle, production costs, taxes, hidden costs, and the profit before overhead is a loss of 500 yuan. Not exactly an amazing business to be in. Good thing it was BYD who recently began operating the first commercial robotaxis in Austin, Texas, and had a vehicle deliver itself to that was Tesla. That's awkward. So there we have it. You guys and girls can make up your own mind. Is BYD cooking the books? Are they in trouble? Are the massive 10, 20, 30% discounts on vehicles already selling for the equivalent of around 10,000 US dollars a big warning sign? Are they actually losing money in their entire automotive business, which is being carried by their battery cell supply business? Are they cooking the books, or is that just some kind of misunderstanding? Do they have an enormous amount of unnecessary complexity in their vehicle business? And should they be embarrassed that a foreign automaker, Tesla, has a vehicle that's outselling any locally produced BYD vehicle in China, despite having a starting price 2 to 3 times higher than many of the BYD produced homegrown vehicles can be purchased for in China? Now, to be clear, I'm no BYD hater. I wish them success. But as I've been saying for some time, there's far too much complexity in this business. And is the fact that they're allegedly taking up to 12 months to pay their suppliers just prudent business management, or a sign of trouble around the corner? Well, why don't you go down the rabbit hole and decide for yourself? Just finally, if I were BYD and it was in fact true that I as a company would kind of fuck, what I would probably do, just as a little bit of a low-key attempt to distract from the fact that I'm kind of fucked, would be to announce quite consistently new product with 600 quadrillion miles of range, new solid-state battery breakthrough, and wank, just so that dimwits would continue to think, oh, look, the future of the company is extremely bright. Of course, I'm not saying that's what BYD would or will do. I'm just saying that if I were in a situation where I was willing to be a little bit dishonest and deceptive and would possibly be the kind of company that might potentially cook the books a little bit, I'd probably also engage in those types of activities just to buy a little bit more potential runway, to continue to be able to access capital, and to not cause my suppliers to panic and say 12 months to get paid. No, get fucked, mate. I do not have all the answers, but I certainly have a lot of questions. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, it has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.